Well, we've arrived and you've begun. You've crossed the threshold. And I really want to take a moment to thank you for the courage it took to step into this new way of living in the world and for the work that's coming up because the journey is about to begin. And I wanted to take this moment of introduction to also lay out some of the frames that I've used as I've built this program, built on many, many powerful models and really wonderful thinkers. And I'm just so grateful. I do want you to have some sense of, who has been on the journey with me. Let's begin with a poem by Mary Oliver, one of my favorites. And the poem begins with, kind of watching a grasshopper in the grass. And it closes this way. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and be blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Well, there are probably more thinkers and feelers and writers and dreamers than I could ever list who have supported this course, but I wanted to give you a few. The primary really is Charles Eisenstein, who wrote this incredible book, The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible. And of course, his words show up in the title. Janet Hagberg will get to Stages of Power. We'll talk about that eventually. That's another one of the just really powerful kind of paradigms that sits behind the work. Bill Plotkin wrote a book called Soulcraft, and in there he references Harley Swiftier Reagan, a Native American man, who is the one who talks about the survival dance and the soul dance. And of course, the book Soulcraft is amazing. Martha Beck, I actually came to Martha Beck after I had created the design for the course and saw that she talked about psychological metamorphosis, and it's really a beautifully done bit of work. And then, of course, Joseph Campbell and The Hero's Journey, and Karen Armstrong, who talks about the Great Transformation, and we will get to that in The Rat Race in Our Heads, because we're really at the brink of a second great transformation, and we are living in an extraordinary time. I know the world feels like it's a bit of the Wild West, and it is, and we are literally living at the turning of an age. So, just the gift that all of us are offering to the world as we do this work is, I think, incalculable. I think we are that very quiet beginning to a profound revolution, and may it be so. So the cycle that came to me as I was designing this course is really a process of metamorphosis. And if we don't metamorphose, then we are going to continue in this tight circle, right? That is kind of, we get born as a caterpillar, let's say, right? We become adults. And then unless we step into a chrysalis, unless we step over the threshold, we're just going to stay a caterpillar and, retire and die a caterpillar. And I just believe there's something much more extraordinary possible for us right now. So if the caterpillar never transforms, what would we call it? We'd call it an incomplete metamorphosis. And I believe that humanity is standing at the precipice of our metamorphosis. And it won't be the first metamorphosis we've undergone, and it will not be the last. And at the same time, we are here at this kind of momentous moment to be midwives to the process. So what's it going to take to get you past the dilemma, right? Because once you step even into the threshold, we start to face the dilemma, and we'll get to that as well. The dilemma is our riddle, and certainly connects to our life's riddle. So when I was in France last year, one of my dear friends, Annemarie Feldman, who is one of the two primary founders of a therapeutic technique called heptonomy, and she was going through their handbook, and I saw these three French verbs: vouloir, pouvoir, and oser. And it was like magic. It was an incredible kind of framework to think about how transformation happens. So first, vouloir is the desire. First, you need to have the desire to transform. Then you need to be able to, the pouvoir, the capacity to transform. And then you've got to dare to do it. And that really is the structure of this course. I'm wanting to support, and it won't just be me, it'll be the village and the cosmos and alignment and all the other things, but to support your capacity to get from the desire to the daring. So in kind of bulleted form, if you will, I believe what it takes to have the desire is to have a clear dream and vision. You need some adventuresome spirit, because this is an adventure, make no mistake, and some companionship. And that is another piece that's coming in this course. And then pouvoir, to be able to, you need a good plan. You need some guidance. You definitely need a sturdy backpack with your essential supplies. And some of that is this next one, which is the capacity to regulate your nervous system, because you're going to step out of what is normal. You're going to get a little weird. Whatever you're doing, you're going to be different for the people around you. Some people are changing something about how they've related to their world. Others of you are shifting jobs or careers or housing or how you live. Regardless, you're gonna, all of that change, it's going to get your nervous system excited. So we do also need this capacity to regulate our nervous system. And then to dare, I really believe in backup plans, because things go awry in adventures. It's part of why it's an adventure. If things didn't go awry, we wouldn't call it an adventure. You also need self-confidence and courage, and a belief that the new life is going to be greater than the old. And then, I think about in Lord of the Rings how they go to Rivendell every once in a while and rest and rejuvenate and celebrate, and you need that too. So let's remember to do that from time to time. And my question to you is, if you just take a moment, which of these do you have, and which do you still need? And here is our transformation spiral. We start usually in our survival dance. That seems to be a precursor to all of this. We do have to have some way to make a living. If we don't have that, we often go back and establish that, because that foundation is needed. And we receive a call, it trips the wires of our dilemma. We cross the threshold. We begin the process of transformation. What we've done really is we've changed our setting. And when we change our setting, we start to break some of the loyalties we've had. And some of them are loyalties to patterns inside of ourselves. Some of them are loyalties in our relationships, and also loyalties to the larger culture. And we also, in that moment, confront the wall. And the wall really represents our ego. And as we break down the wall of our ego and the loyalties, we start to get a glimpse of what's possible. And what's possible is the more beautiful world. And in the more beautiful world, there is your true self. So we transform our setting, then we transform ourselves. And really what it is we come more deeply into who we are. And then we step into our soul dance. And when we step into our soul dance, we are also actively changing the world.